Since I'm nearly finished Volume 1 of The Angel Professor, I just have a couple scenes left. I don't know for sure how long those scenes will take, but I know that's all there is left of the first volume at least. Anyways, since I'm almost done, I wanted to create an OC video, or an OC focus video about Yakob, because he's the protagonist. Well, he's sort of the co-protagonist with Joan, and I will have you know that this is a very original idea, and definitely not at all inspired by the philosophy of Shadow the Hedgehog videos I've been watching. My understanding of philosophy is very minimal at best, so if I mention anything, don't expect it to be perfect. But I will give you my own view of this character's outlook. Now, with that out of the way, let's step into his mystery. Now, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back when I say that Yakob is a pretty unusual interpretation of an angel. I've actually been told by people in real life that he is weird and seen raised eyebrows. And this is okay. People are allowed to think whatever they would like about him. However, I would like to at least explain how I think, or how I feel about him. Now, it's true that Yakob is a very angsty character, possibly the most angsty character I've ever written, but he is designed to be different than what I think the usual, young adult fiction idea of an angel is, or a fallen angel, I don't know, being, vaguely teenaged in appearance and having a love affair with a human. While he is edgy and a bit subversive like that, he definitely appears older, and he is not a fallen angel. He is something in between. He has not exactly abandoned his master. He is more or less having an extremely long sulk. If he were a fallen angel, he would be serving the devil, and he can't stand the devil. It's not exactly that he can't stand God, but rather that he can't understand God right now. He doesn't understand how someone with infinite power could allow all of this stuff to happen, and doesn't seem to fully use his power. However, he knows that his master has good intentions, and so this is why he is at least going to consider working with him again for Joan's sake. Now, why is Yakob so overwhelmingly angsty? What happened? In one word, it was the fall. And no, I'm not talking about the really short season in Canada. Yakob always trained to fight the eventual evil that may arise, but he had absolutely no idea and was not prepared to fight his own brothers, his own brethren, because the evil that did eventually arise were angels that fell. Specifically, Yakob was the leader of a small guardian angel squad made up of Elias, Joel, Jerome, and Margaret. Of course, now we know that he and Margaret are the only members of that squad who have not fallen. Yakob was never particularly close to Margaret, but he was very close to the other three, especially Elias. He could not come to terms with how this wonderful, sort of little brother type angel could fall so far from what he had become, could be absolutely bastardized into this monster. That was the first thing to break him or send him over the edge. The second thing, which I haven't shown too much of yet, is just seeing how far the world had fallen, creation, how this fall influenced humanity, and nature too. A great recipe for hopelessness is to just stare at the negative things in the world for centuries. Now, there is one more real kicker in this recipe for an angsty, disillusioned angel, and that is the lovely human Joan. Not just any human either. Joan was assigned to be Yakob's charge as soon as she was born, but Yakob hesitated to take her on after everything that had happened. He wasn't sure if he was qualified, although he was really eager to see this child. Now, I won't say exactly what because of spoilers, and, well, this hasn't actually been fully explored in the comic, although it has been hinted at several times. Yakob feels that because of his hesitation, or because of his fear, because of his pride, because of all or any of those things, something terrible happened to Joan. And because he blames himself for this, he feels an excruciating amount of guilt. And even though he didn't officially take her under his wing, because of the amount of time spent near her, he did start to develop an empathic link with her, as guardians do with their humans. This means that while the link is still underdeveloped, Yakob can experience all of her pain sevenfold. This link is designed so that guardians can better help their humans, so that they know what they're feeling, so that they know when they're in trouble. But for an angel like this, it's just hell. So now we have fallen brothers, a fallen world, and now the only beautiful thing that he still loves has been tainted by this nature also. By the way, I should specify that the nature of Yakob's love for Joan is paternal. No matter how old she gets, she will always be a child in comparison to someone as old as him. Now, when you combine all these things together, you get an angel who is not just acerbic and seemingly mean, but you get this angel who is stuck and has unintentionally become the perfect plaything for Satan. It's gonna take a lot to budge him from this position. He is so far gone. This is all that this angel is carrying when we meet him and when Margaret finds him. And boy, is her work cut out for her as a healer. Not only are those centuries-old wounds going to be tough to heal in themselves, you have to actually earn this guy's trust before he will even let you go near touching them. And all of this is not even mentioning the already turbulent relationship he had with Margaret, and still has, only it's even worse now after all this. This angel needs a serious kick in the pants to get him back on the right direction, or maybe he just needs a little love, a little gentleness to remind him that not all is lost in this world. Some things are still here, some things are still worth saving, worth loving, worth being a part of. And now that Joan's eyes have been opened to Yakob's existence, it's a lot harder for him to push her away. He might just have to face everything one step at a time. That's what the next volume is going to be about. I am not an expert, and I am not trying to depict angels accurately. I think I've said this many times. I'm just trying to tell a redemptive story. And hopefully this does not come across as me defending the character so much as explaining him. I do not think that he is right about everything. His view is only one side of the coin. And I hope it is evident based on little glimpses we have seen that Yakob is not actually this harsh and cold angel. He is really just extremely hurt and would be gentle and kind if not for all of this. And I can't thank all of you enough for reading and supporting his story with me. It's been a blast. And I look forward to sharing more of his story with you, as well as more of Sunstrike and Blue Mist in the new year. I love you. Have a good one.